Welcome. My name is Klara Ana Rosa. I'm the founder of Mhondoro Dreams Productions. I do mythology, magic, astrology, ceremony, connected to all the places where I initiated, where I continue to initiate, which is North America, South America, Africa, and Europe, or specifically Poland, which is where I'm from. So yes, on some level, I am a globalist. with feet here and there and everywhere. So today I'm going to talk to you about March and the month of March, the astrology of March, but not just the astrology of March, also the story that you as an individual and then you within your context that you are living in the month of March. So we'll be going over the astrology a bit. We'll be talking about it, unpacking it. And the other thing I wanted to say is that my course, my series of webinars, Divine Pathways, Unlocking the Spiritual Wisdom of Africa, it is going to open for its second edition in April. It is already on sale now. There's an early bird price. It's in the links below. So please feel free to sign up. It is a course that it is a distillation of a lot of my initiation knowledge experience that brings in, on the one hand, the techniques and the understanding of especially connection with ancestors, not just family ancestors, but big ancestors, non-human ancestors, the wider connection and organization of spiritual relationships, as well as rituals and ceremonies and the day-to-day know-how of that, as well as simply what is the language of your spirits. And how do you connect to that intimate language, not just this grand, universal, supposedly symbolic language or even cultural language, but again, the intimacy and creativity of your own spirits. I really do recommend it very much, and I hope I see you there. Yes. And also I wanted to also emphasize my book is coming in. I always forget to talk about this stuff at the beginning. It's September 25th, The Way of the Lioness. So that is a book about those initiation experiences, mainly in Zimbabwe, some of the ones from North America, some of the ones from South America, but mainly it's about Zimbabwe and Poland. There's a bit of Tanzania and South Africa in there. The reason I talk about these different locations is that one of the practical ways in which my spirit works is through movement. And so my spirits move both on the ground and in the imagination. So I do find myself in a lot of different places. I find myself in a lot of different places, a lot of different times. At this point, I'd say, okay, fine, I'm a traveler. So there you go. But the locations also give a sense of the culture of initiation that comes in and through those experiences that I have when I'm there. Yes, so there's the book. Did I forget anything else? Yes, if you like these videos, please feel free to subscribe, to like, to comment. I do want to also get to know you. What are your experiences? What are your experiences in March? When we talk about astrology in general and the wisdom of the times and the wisdom of certain portals, it's always interesting to look at a variety of stories, many people's stories, and also Mhondoro Dreams is about creating a global community. So that is also one of the things that we are trying to do. And if you like them also, if you feel so inspired, you can support me. You can buy me a coffee, which there's also a link below. All of that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Greatest of gratitudes goes out to everyone who is supportive of me and this work. Yes, so I think that's probably all. And now we can move on to March and to this great month of deep transformation that a lot of us have been speaking about for a while now. And as I said in my previous recording about the 6 months astrology starting from the eclipse season of October, more or less, September, October, there's a sense that there was a lot of strong review in that time, and things also coming to a head. And then especially with the Mars retrograde and then Mars going direct on February 23rd, the energy is starting to pick up now. And now we are moving into this eclipse portal where we get confronted by the things that we have been going over, reviewing, and thinking about. We do get confronted by them, especially since Venus is now in retrograde. Starting at the beginning of March, Venus is in retrograde, and then starting mid-month, essentially the day after the first eclipse, Mercury is also going into retrograde. And what those retrogrades do is they emphasize the sense of review. They emphasize the sense of going back. So even though Mars is now direct, even though we are moving forward, even though the outer planets are getting ready to change signs, there's a sense of, by the way, it's a last plunge somehow into a review, or seeing something that we had not seen before in this review that becomes part of this new story. Because Neptune is changing signs into Aries at the end of the month. So we have these two eclipses that are quite interesting, in that the first eclipse in Virgo, it's a lunar eclipse. It definitely comes with the sense of, as full moons do, of something coming to a head, coming to a fullness, and then also coming to light, as well as the eclipse portal itself. And that eclipse is ruled by Mercury. Then Mercury goes into retrograde the next day. So something about that eclipse is going to inspire you to say, oh, wow, there's actually even more review, that a journey, almost a journey back, a journey. Also, retrogrades doesn't always necessarily mean back. It also means differently. So a journey differently through maybe familiar terrain, or terrain that you thought was familiar, in that 2-week eclipse portal between eclipses, because eclipses come in pairs and they are definitely this point of destiny. And then comes the solar eclipse at the end of the month in Aries, which is then the day essentially after the solar eclipse. Then Neptune moves into Aries, into the sign of that eclipse, starting a whole new chapter, because it will be there for essentially the next 14, 15 years. A new chapter of this service, visionariness, aspiration. On some level, Neptune is a form of our greatest aspiration, which is why also it's known as the planet of illusion, because you can say, well, I can judge that person's aspiration. Oh, that person's crazy. They are seeing something that's not there, but that person is aspiring to a vision. So in the best sense, when we look at Neptune, we look at people trying to be their best selves, and also seeing the best in the world and seeing the possibilities for goodness, which is something that I think all of us do need right now, among other things. And yet that can seem divorced from reality. It can seem unrealistic. And that's, again, the conversation between Neptune and Saturn, which we are having for the next year, before they conjunct in Aries at 0 degrees next year in March. So it's a very dynamic year. The sense of worlds shifting, the sense of this is illusions of grandeur, and then the next day it becomes, no, this is a dream worth pursuing, and then the next day it becomes, oh no, there's no way. That kind of flipping and change is a lot of what the planets are inspiring in us right now, especially since the motion for this eclipse season of this great group of planets is between Pisces and Aries. So between Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune in modern astrology, in the sense of, a greater vision of spirituality, of humanity, of life, and of the world, and of connection, to Aries, what is worth fighting for, What do I fight for? Where am I fighting ignorantly or stupidly? Where am I wasting my fire and my energy on an illusion? And so the planets are, especially since Venus and Mercury are going retrograde in Aries, then going back into Pisces, then going forward again into Aries, there's a lot of, can I call it confusion? Going back and forth, definitely. I think I was talking about this in my previous video. So when we look at this eclipse portal, when we look at eclipses in general, I can tell you for myself, for me, eclipses were a big part of what inspired me to start studying astrology because of the truth of them. The sense that there are these times, usually 2 times a year during eclipse season, when destiny comes calling very personally, very literally, and in a way that seems impossible to change. This sense of fate, heightened sense of fate for everyone and also collectively, when important things happen, when there's a sense of destiny at play. And when I started to pay attention to them, one of the things that I tell my students is also, if there's nothing else that you pay attention to in astrology, pay attention to eclipses. There's a reason why the ancients, for them also, this was a time of changes of government, deaths and births of kings and queens. There's a sense of, again, that eclipse portal that opens doors and things leave and things come in. People leave, people come in. Ideas leave, ideas come in. And how best can we go with the flow during times like these, especially when things are happening like they are in the world today and people are scared of war right now. There are many wars that are already going on, and then there's a sense of, wow, there could be more war. Seems to be so many conversations that are misunderstandings that all seem to be some kind of push where people, by the way, the political statement you'll hear from me, which is all the people who are having these conversations are not the ones who are going to end up boots on the ground, going to war. And they seem to be pushing for, more war, more war. How do we deal with that? How do we deal with the sense of destiny in eclipse seasons when it feels like fate and it feels really hard? And that's why, on some level, astrology, as much as these days I see a lot of this tendency and desire for astrology to be a secular science, to be I guess you could say objective science, that there's such a thing as objective astrology. And when it comes to the astrology itself, the movement of the planets and their correlation, yes, absolutely, there's a way of being objective. But when we look at even the Vedic perspective on astrology, which is much closer to African spirituality and much closer to the sense that these beings, the planets, the grahas, the grabbers, they are grabbing us, people. They are possessing us with certain ideas, certain actions, certain paths, and they can come in many different levels and different forms. And yet, even within that, even within being in this spiritual relationship with the stars and with the planets, we ourselves also can aspire to be our most clear selves throughout that. So that's why, regardless of what you are going through, I pray that all of the good ones are with you, that the good gods are supporting you and protecting you, that your best ancestors are with you holding your hand, that the angels of grace and mercy for whatever you have done or not done in the past, or would have done or would have not done in the future, that they may offer grace, something that all of us, I believe, really need right now, which is grace, which is mercy, which is a sense of letting go, which is a sense of, it's okay. It's okay. the nightmare is not so bad once you wake up. It was there, it passed through, it raged itself out, and you're okay, you are safe. So there's a place of interacting also with whether it's astrological knowledge, and definitely astrology in connection with mundane astrology, politics, things going on in the world. You're doing so from a place of feeling safe, doing so from a place of letting the breath go. Something that is also connected with this full moon eclipse in Virgo, which is letting go. Set the sense of, because the South Node is in Virgo right now, so that sense of my need for control, which is very much associated with Virgo. Can I let it go? Can I let it go? Can I let it go? Can I trust? This North Node in Pisces. Can I amplify my trust, even though the pathway is not going to be clear and straightforward? Within that, there's on the one hand, there's a sense of like the old story of the emperor who wanted to know what is the most important thing, the most important time. How do you truly know what is the most important thing to be doing in life? And he couldn't find an answer for this. And he searched and searched and searched, and there were all of these wise men and women who were coming, and each one had their philosophies and their ideas, but nothing was quite convincing to the emperor, because it felt like, well, it could be this Buddhist master, or it could be this Christian priest, or it could be this witch, who says this and that, and how do I really know? How do I really know? And then one day he heard that there was a wise man who lived outside of the city, but he had to go travel to see this wise man. So he was traveling to go see this wise man. He went incognito. He went by himself. He dressed up, not as the emperor. You know how it is when you're emperor. And he and on the way he saw there was a man on the side of the road who was sick and wounded and dying, and the emperor took pity in a good Samaritan way. He couldn't leave this man. This man would have died. So he took care of this man. He waited until he could get transport with the man. They went to see a doctor, and then the man needed some assistance for a day or two. And the emperor said, well, I figure I'm not really that much in a rush. So he took care of this man. And then when he was done, he continued his journey to go to see this wise man. And it turned out that that wise man was the very same man who the emperor had taken care of. And the wise man said, look, you found the answer to your question. What is the most important thing? And what is the most important time? And how do you know what the most important thing to be doing is? And that is... the most important time is right now. The most important thing is the thing that is right in front of you. The most important person is the person who is right in front of you. The task is the task that is right in front of you. That is what you need to be doing, and that is what you need to be focusing on. So in an age of mass distraction, which is what we are in, and if you have gotten to this point in the video, I congratulate you, salute you, and thank you. And please do like and comment and subscribe. Because it really does help. It really does help my work also. And it helps us connect. And may all the blessings go to you as well. So in this age of mass distraction, there's a sense of, well, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Should I be believing this or believing that? Where do I land my beliefs? But the simplicity of the gods have given me this life and these tasks, and what is in front of me is the thing that is in front of me. That is also where you are going to find your heart and your courage. That is where I find my heart and my courage very often, in times of deep despair, in times when it seems like the whole thing is pointless. And why? There's a sense of, there's a light in us. And there's a light in human beings, and there's a light that is a mirror of the light that is in your life, the path in your life. And that light, no matter if nobody ever sees it but you, is that thing of you are you. You have gotten this life. The things that are in front of you are the things that are in front of you, and walk that path and trust that path. And to me, that's very much, that is the story also of the North Node in Pisces and South Node in Virgo. Trust that path, walk that path. It will not lead you astray. It may be extremely difficult, but it will be yours. And in being yours, it will be the most beautiful thing. And it is the most beautiful thing. So, as much as I hear a lot of astrologers talking about Neptune and Aries in this, of course, objective and distrustful way, I find, as a person who has a very prominent Neptune in her chart also, and making friends with Neptune is a part of my life, that there's a way in which Neptune challenges us to understand that there is no such thing as objectivity. There's no such thing. As much as you would want a balanced viewpoint, Neptune shows us that within each of us having our life and our path and our karma and our destiny from both the past and the future, that there's no objectivity in that. What is one person's madness is another person's courage. What is one person's idiocy is another person's glory. And to respect that, and then also to deepen our relationship with our own hearts, and the connection between our selves, our true selves, and our actions is the way in which Neptune is going to be moving us right now, moving from the sense of enhancing and opening our spiritualities in Pisces, and now moving into the age of action, Aries. And yes, it will be surprising for a lot of people, because, and it's something I really do believe, that human beings don't actually, as much as we are a social species, we are not as boxed as the media and the overculture would have us believe that we are. We don't move in packs in the same way. We don't believe along a 2-party or 3-party or even 5-party system. Human life is far more complex than that. Human life is far more intuitive, far more, even today I think this, tomorrow I think that. My opinions change. Also, I'm not fully in line with anybody. It's not like an army. It's not like I'm in line with somebody. I'm my own self. I have my own experiences that have inspired this opinion or that opinion. I change also. So who I was 5 years ago is not necessarily who I am now. And so there's the sense that with Neptune in Aries, that individuality, the things that people have been going through in the last years, the individuality of their beliefs that they've come into contact with, that you've come into contact with, now is moving into actions that, yes, it's going to surprise people. And it won't necessarily be interpreted well initially, because the world wants us to think in packs and in boxes and in this set way. But when a person gets in touch with their spirit, they can move in very surprising ways. And that might look like illusion, again, to somebody. But to somebody else, it is courage and it is wisdom. And it is something that has been a long time coming. That's the other thing. The birth of these eclipse seasons, or what they birth, sometimes these things are a very long time coming. Sometimes they are since the last eclipse cycle has taken us there, which is 18, 19 years, essentially. And I'm curious what that is for you, what you are also getting ready to do, or what this portal is looking like for you, or after the portal. You can let me know what kind of stories have occurred for you. So one more thing that I want to add apropos this review is that this solar eclipse in Aries, which is the last of the Libra-Aries axis, is very much tied to last year's April eclipse in Aries, solar eclipse, which was a big eclipse. A lot of people had very dramatic things happen to them. And this eclipse is connected somehow to that one. Not necessarily literally. It might have nothing to do with it on the surface, but some feeling that you have of the inspiration of action within you and courage within you. It might be related because of this retrograde of both Venus and Mercury, and that eclipse being somehow, again, the last one in Aries. So there's a sense of review very, very, very strongly. I know I've been talking a lot about review in the last few months. But you can tell maybe in your own lives that the review is also the deeper the review, the more newness comes out of it, the more we are preparing for these outer planet changes and letting yourself be who you are in a new way. I wish that for you. Yeah, I wish that for you. May it be beautiful. May it really be beautiful. And may it come from a place of safety and of feeling good and of trust. And I wish that for you. Again, if you like my content and like this channel, I invite you to sign up for the webinar series. I invite you to follow more of my work. I'm really a creative. I'm a creative person and a spiritual person. I put together spirituality and the arts. But that also I make a lot of music. I've made movies, plays, ceremony theater is my big thing. So there's a really strong creative streak and component within all of that, as well as the wisdom knowledge itself. Not that I am wise, but wisdom and truth are very much guiding things that I'm very interested in. So whether it's, and there's more about my life and my path if you are interested in. I've lived a very interesting life. And I continue to live a very interesting life. So, but I do hope that I see more of you here and in other places, spaces of Mhondoro Dreams. And maybe I'll just say a bit about the name Mhondoro Dreams before we go, because it says a lot about the work itself. The Mhondoro they are a group of ancestral spirits of very old ancestors, and they show up also in bodies of lions as well as human beings, and they are the rulers of the land. They're quite territorial spirits. I could say a lot about them. I write a lot about them in my PhD that I'm currently finishing. Because they have a very particular way of behaving. They're actually quite original. So on the one hand, they're very deeply tied to tradition, but because they're very powerful spirits, they can't be controlled. And so even within the tradition, you'll have a lot of people say that it is within the Shona tradition in Zimbabwe, that, a Mhondoro spirit, that's a difficult initiation because it can't really be guided. It can't be guided by a human being. Because Mhondoro want to do things their own way, and that way is a mystery to many people. So they're wild spirits in this way. And to me, the Mhondoro, they are these wild spirits that take care of not just human beings. They are deeply connected with the stars. And they are dreaming for us right now. We have been disconnected from them for a long time. On some level, due to maybe even unconscious lack of respect. Conscious, unconscious, on some level, sometimes it's the same thing. The outcome is certainly the same. And they are very much also in charge of the imagination, of dreaming of what do we think of is possible for us as people, or where are we setting limits? Because the Mhondoro is a spirit that has no limits. Yes, it is, as I've said before, it adheres to divine law. Everyone and everything does. But limits and law are two very different things in the spirit world. So in that sense, that's where the name comes from, Mhondoro Dreams. And I hope to see you more within that. And thank you so much. And I wish you a amazing eclipse portal. Please let us know your stories. And I will see you in the next video.